Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss my interview experience for Capgemini for the senior analyst profile and for TCS for digital profile through CodeVita. So before starting, I would like to thank Anshul and Tech in Target for providing such a great content to us final year students. It is a very good channel for us, so we can have a look about the various interview experience, about various patterns of exams, and it had helped me a lot. I was following Tech in Target for quite a long time before my interviews, and it helped me a lot. So first of all, thank you Anshul for providing such a great content, and keep providing this for the further interviews of the other students as well. So moving on with the interview experiences. First of all, let's discuss about the Capgemini Senior Analyst technical interview. So the interview went like this. First of all, the interviewer, she was a lady. She asked me to introduce myself with my academic record, projects, and internships. So this is one of the most basic questions in any interview. So I just explain about myself, and if you want to know how to answer this question, you can see Anshul's previous videos. He has covered this question. So I just introduced about myself and told about the various languages I use. Other than that, I told about my academic record, my project, my internship, what was my role in that, what was the purpose for that particular project or internship, and everything like that. So this is the basic question. So next question was about the coding round. So we went to the senior analyst interview after a coding round. So it had comprised of two questions of coding. So the interview asked me about the language I use in that. I told about C++ is my primary coding language. And after that, she asked me about how did I solve them and explain the approach. So I explained her about how I took the questions, what was the approach I made, and how did I solve them basically. So I just explained about them. Afterwards, she asked me that you had mentioned C++ as your primary language. So tell me the difference between C++ and Java. So I like gave 4 or 5 points for each and explained it. Afterwards, she asked me about Python because Python was mentioned in my CV. So she asked me about tuples in Python. Like what is tuples in Python? I told about that. Then she asked me what is the difference between tuples and list. So to practice these type of questions, you can refer Java T point. Like if you type on Google Java T point Python interview questions, you will find a lot of questions like these, and you can find them for any language or like something like that. So Java T point is the best site I could find for practicing for interviews. So the next question was what is normalization and explain 1NF. So I basically explained what is normalization in 2 to 3 lines and explained about 1NF. But the interviewer didn't seem like much happy about my answer because she just kept mum and didn't utter a word after that. So I got the signal that yes, I have to answer more. So I went into greater depth about normalization, why we use normalization, and how does this help us, and what is 2NF and 3NF and denormalization. Afterwards, she stopped me that yes, this is enough. We can move on to the next question. So the next question was what was the databases that you have used in your projects? So I have mentioned two projects. One was using MongoDB and the other one was using MySQL Server. So I told about both of them. She asked me a little about what is the difference between SQL and NoSQL. I told about 1 or 2 lines of differences. Afterwards, she asked me a query to find the number of employees in a finance department of a company. So this is one of the basic SQL queries. You can also find these queries on GFG YouTube channel as well as like Java T point. So you can practice them from there. So I answered about this, and she asked me to wait for 15 minutes for the next interview. So I had to wait for about an hour. The interview was being conducted about on the Superset platform, and I got the mail after an hour about the HR interview. So the interview started, and the interview was again a lady. She asked me to show the government ID. So I showed, and she took the screenshot. Afterwards, she asked me about the introduction. So I gave a brief introduction about 4 or 5 lines of my introduction. So afterwards, she asked me about why engineering. So I answered like, why do I like engineering? How am I fascinated by computer science and engineering branch? Basically, like this was why is my specialization. And after that, she asked me about this particular college, that why did I come to this college only and not any other college. So I told why I chose the particular college that I'm in. And afterwards, she asked me about the gap in education. I had taken a drop. So she asked me, why did you take a gap in education? So I explained what was the problem that I was facing in my 12th. And after that, why did I take the gap, and like what was the outcome of my gap? Was it productive or not? And all that stuff. Afterwards, she asked me about where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years. So I basically answered about my long-term goals. Like I want to be in a Capgemini in a position in which I have a great technical stack. I know about a lot of domains. I'm experienced in a lot of domains. I've done various projects in many domains. So she seemed to be happy about my answer. Afterwards, she asked me about bond and relocation. So this is a norm that you always have to say yes, that yes, I know about the bond and I'm okay with relocation, even if you're not, because this is the part in which you cannot deny them. You have to say yes for getting a job. So afterwards, she said that that's all, and she was going to leave. So, but I wanted to ask a question. So I asked that I can I go up, ask a question. She said go ahead. So my question was, what are the qualities you are looking for in a senior analyst over an analyst? So she basically explained me the difference between the profiles, like the what is the work that they do, and how is senior analyst training different from analyst training, and all that stuff. So afterwards, this was the whole interview. She asked me if I have any other questions. So I said no, that's all. So afterwards, this interview ended, and I was selected. I got the result in evening. Now coming to the CodeVita digital interview experience, I will start with technical interview. The interview were going simultaneously. There were all three interviewers, technical, managerial, and HR, all three in one meeting only. So they were asking questions. The questions were not like a particular interview, like only technical, then only MR, then only HR. They were mixed, but I have categorized them in three parts. So I would talk about them categorically. So first of all, with technical interview, the interviewer asked me to introduce myself as there were HR and MR also present. So I gave a like introduction in which technical as well as HR aspects were like combined in one. So it was a pretty long conversation in this one question. So you can refer to Anshul's previous video about this to know how to answer that. Afterwards, they asked me what are the all programming languages that I use. So I kept answering about the programming languages I use. So he didn't seem very happy about my answer. Like he kept because I only told about one or two languages, and then I got the signal that yes, I have to tell more. So I also told about my the web development part, that I use this and this particular language in web development. Then he seemed happy and said, yes, we can move on to the next question now. So he asked me about the CodeVita codes. He opened the editor, he was sharing his screen, and opened my code and asked me why did I use this particular approach and how did I do these questions. So I explained about my approach, like what was the approach, how did I do the questions. I had completed two questions fully and didn't attempt the other four. Afterwards, he asked me about the second question, that why only I did it in this particular way, because my approach was a little different from the general approach. So I told him about how I went to that approach, how I like got the answer. I did a dry run of many test cases, and I then like look for a pattern and all that. And he seemed to be happy about my answer. Afterwards, he asked me about my favorite subject. So I told about DBMs. You can tell about any subject you like, and I would say like you prefer DS or DBMS or DA type of subject, because these are the technical subjects in which the interviewer also has like good questions to ask, and you can also answer them very well. So it gives a better edge. Like if you tell about a subject which is not much relevant to them, so that's not like good according to me. By the way, it's a personal preference, so you can choose any favorite subject. Afterwards, he asked me about SQL and PLSQL. What is the difference between them and what do they do? I didn't know about PLSQL, so I said, sir, sorry, I don't know about PLSQL. I cannot remember it right now. I can tell about SQL. So I explained about SQL. So he seemed to be happy about my answer, and he said, yes, no problem. You can only answer SQL. That's fine. Afterwards, he asked me the difference between drop and truncate command. So I told him about this. You can find such questions in Java T-Point as well as in the DBMS part of the GFG in YouTube channel of theirs. So you can find these questions out there, and like there are many particular videos or websites which are giving such questions, so you can refer them. Afterwards, he asked me about DDL and DML commands. What is the difference between them and which one does update come under? So these are the questions which we all know, but we don't remember like instantly. So I would suggest you to like go through DML and DDL commands a night before the interview so that they are fresh in your mind. So that if the interviewer asks you about this, you can answer this. Afterwards, he asked me about the alter command. What is the alter command and how it is used, the syntax about it, and I told about that. Afterwards, he asked me about the rollback command. What is rollback and why it is used? So I told about the transactions, about the transaction, why rollback is needed, how it is performed. So he seemed to be interested in it more, and he asked me, how do you perform a rollback in the real world? So I told about the Git, the management system. So I told about the commits, that we can commit a project at particular points, that are the checkpoints to which we can roll back in a further time. And I told him how to like roll back to a commit, and he seemed to be happy about the answer. Afterwards, he asked me to explain my projects that I have mentioned in my CV. So I explained my projects, and then he was a little more interested into my recent project. So he asked me about it a little more. Like, have you completed any projects in the lockdown period? So I had also mentioned in my introduction that I was completing Node.js in my lockdown period, and I had done a project on it. So he asked me about that. So I told him that yes, this particular project was in the lockdown period, and he asked me to explain it. So I explained what are the functionalities, what are the all the steps in that, like what all pages are there, and how the like database is being managed and all that. So it was also deployed. So he asked me to share the URL of the project where it is deployed. So I shared the URL with him, and he opened it on his machine and asked me about what is this particular command doing, what is this particular tab doing, and how it is going in the backend and all that. So I told him about that. Afterwards, he asked me about the callbacks in Node.js, like what are the callbacks, why are they used, and all that. So I answered them all. Afterwards, the technical part was done and the MR interview started. So they were mixed questions, but now I'm going to discuss about the MR questions. So the first question was, suppose you have a family issue and you are working on a project. How would you handle that? So you have to answer these questions on a soft spot. Like you cannot always prefer the company only. You can all not always prefer the family only. So you have to answer them in a soft spot. Like I would be not throwing my task onto others. I would be dealing with my family emergency as well as giving a little time to the project. And I know that I cannot complete the project in the given particular time frame. So I could ask for a little relaxation in the time frame, but I would complete my task. So this is how you should answer such questions. Afterwards, he asked, what if your teammates aren't cooperative? How would you ensure the work is done on time? So I took an example of my first year project and I told about how my teammates weren't cooperative enough. So he seemed to be happy about like me using the practical real world examples. And I use such examples in many of the questions. So you try to also include such real world scenarios in your answers as well. So afterwards, he asked me about any problems that I face in my project and how did I overcome that issue. So I explained about a problem that was occurring in my project and how I didn't let myself to be demotivated and how I kept myself as well as my teammate motivated and like answered all of that. So this was all about MR. Now coming to the HR questions. The HR asked about the relocation. So you have to answer yes as I have told before. Afterwards, he asked about the bond, so I had to say yes, I had know about the bond and I'm okay with it. Then he asked me, what if you get a on-site in small country like Argentina, which is totally new to you? How would you handle the pressure personally and professionally both? So I answered them in such a way that it would be a growth for me only, and if I am being given an on-site opportunity, that means my seniors and my the boss is having such faith in me that I can handle that pressure. So definitely I can handle the pressure. And I told him about that TCS is not a one-man company. So if I face any problem, I can always refer to my colleagues as well as my seniors like this and this is the problem and how should I handle that. And for personal part, I told about that yes, me my family is happy with me relocating to other places, as well as that I can connect to them virtually. And this pandemic period has taught us how to connect to each other virtually as well, and be happy about it. So he seemed to be happy about the answer. Afterwards, he asked me, since TCS works on all sorts of old to new technologies, what if you get a work on old technology? How would you react? So I told him about that. If I get a old technology, it would be great because it would have such a wide array of documentation and services. Like if I face any issue, there are a lot of sites which can help me and a lot of experience with other people as well, my seniors in TCS as well, who can answer my queries as well. And if I get a new technology, that would be great for my growth. Like it is a new and upcoming technology, it would be a great learning curve. So I answered in such a way. So he seemed to be happy about my answer. Afterward, he asked me to show the soft copies of all the documents, 10th, 12th, and BTech mark sheet up to 6th semester, and the passing certificates, and the government ID. So I showed him, and he took the screenshots of that. Afterwards, he asked me about any backlogs. I told that no, I don't have any backlogs. Afterwards, he asked me about any questions for us. So I basically asked him, what if I want to upgrade to digital? What is the procedure? Like, how can I upgrade to digital? So he told me that we are not looking for digital profile in that code Vita interview. These interviews are being conducted for the Ninja profile. But if all of us like agree that this particular student is good and he can be considered for the digital profile, and if all three of us agree, then only we upgrade to a digital profile, and that is a rare case. So that's what he answered to me. So I was not having many high hopes about this to be converted to digital, because all three had to agree that yes, this particular student is good and we want to upgrade him to digital. So, and when I got the mail that I was selected for the digital profile and I was the only person in my college who was selected for digital profile, I was very happy. And that's all for the interview experience. So after at the end, I would like to thank Anshul for the constant support, and the videos he was posting, they helped me a lot. And you also like go through his channel fully and see a lot of interview experience. You will know a lot of questions, and no question in your interview would be new to you. So that's all from my side. Thank you, and all the best for your upcoming interviews.